What is up, guys? In this video, I want to talk about the one muscle that I think people forget to train that will absolutely affect everything else on your body. Like, you will literally not get results if you do not train this muscle. Let's talk about it.
Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind, this my prime. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind, and this my prime. Yeah, I'm sorry for the wait, didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting on the river with an ace.
The muscle that I'm referring to is your brain, your mind. Your mind is literally a muscle just like every other part on your body. It literally is. So I think that when people go into starting to like working out, maybe they've been out of it for a while and they just started up and by this time they want to be here or whatever, they forget to train their mind with everything else. Because if they had a good mindset and had a strong mindset, they wouldn't be where they are right now. Like me, for an example, perfect example. If I had a great, perfect mindset, I would be exactly where I want to be. And in most people's scenarios, that's just not possible sometimes. And for those that, think that it can be achieved no matter what you go through, good for you if that's what you think. I don't think that's possible. I think if you're human, I think that, when something really bad happens, how can you just turn it off and then come in here and give it a 5? Come on. I don't think that's possible, honestly. Yeah, so you just got to remember, going into any goal, you have to not just train your body, but you also have to train your mind. So if you're not doing hot and you haven't been doing hot, or maybe you started working out and you're still not doing so hot, I think you're forgetting to train your mind. So what am I talking about when it comes to training your mind? PD, guys, PD. What you're listening to right now, this video right now, could be considered as PD. You could listen to this video. If it hits home with you and you're relating to everything that I'm saying, listen to it every day or whatever you need to do. There's plenty of amazing motivational YouTube channels out there that I listen to, that I absolutely love to listen to every single morning, but I am obviously struggling right now with everything we got going on. So I'm not just training my body, I'm also training my mind to try to reprogram it to get back on track. Because without doing that, without taking that extra time in the morning, which is when I do it, I'm not gonna be able to do it, guys. Like, you literally have to train your mind, because if you don't, you can have a good week, sure. You can have a good month. Man, you could even have a good 2 months. But guess what? What happens when something happens, when something bad happens? You gonna fall off? Yeah, probably. Maybe not. Maybe you're different, but in most cases, yeah, you're probably gonna fall off the bandwagon because during that time, you weren't training for what happened, right? So even if you have a perfect 2 months and you're just killing it and you're able to get in all your workouts, life's good, you're not depressed, you don't have anything going on that happened like we had happened, and life's good. Like, you will have streaks like that, but a mistake that I did was I went away from PD for too long, because I always usually like to do PD, but I haven't been. And I think that could have been something that could have prevented me from getting to where I am right now, which is having a little of the extra fluff. Had I done PD every morning, I probably would have been a little bit more prepared for what I went through this week. This week was really difficult for me. If you guys watched my last video, I talked about my wife and I going into our next transfer. And unfortunately, it was a fail. Not an easy week to get in all my workouts. And yeah, intensity, really difficult. I would say there was some nights where I planned to do like something after I was done working out. Like, sometimes I like to do an additional small HIIT workout that touches every muscle on my body to help speed up the process when it comes to getting rid of fat. But it just didn't work out in my favor this week just because of everything we obviously had going on with the IVF transfer failing. It took me longer to get through the workouts, so I had to pause the program a little bit to get through some of them, just because I think that when it comes to weights, I think an added bonus to tracking your weights is for weeks like this, when you're really struggling mentally. For me, like I said, this week was incredibly difficult. One day I actually had to skip altogether because I had to be there for my wife and yeah. So obviously when it comes to that kind of thing, guys, be there for your family, obviously. I know I come up like a hard ass, like never skip your workout, but there is situations where you're just gonna have to, and it's just gonna happen. And if you guys watched my last video, I talk about how to deal with that. It's easy to get hung up on like how you did in the last day or two or week or month. But if you get too hung up on it, you're never gonna get results because all you think about is what happened in the past, and it's gonna affect what happens in the future because all your workouts aren't gonna be where they could be. Focus on what you're doing right now and kick some ass, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta learn to let shit go. And I am saying that because that's a big struggle of mine, honestly. I would say every single time when something happens, and this is for real, and I'm still working on it, honestly. If I didn't have a problem, I obviously would be exactly where I wanna be right now, and I'm not. Far from. So one thing that I am working on really hard is not getting so hung up on what happened yesterday, last week, and just try to forget about, move on, and just treat every day as a new beginning, because it is. It was really difficult this week. We had our failed transfer, and it was really hard to do just that. Forget about what happened yesterday, because I went into the week missing a workout. That sucks. That's not a good way to start the week. And then the next day came, and then I had issues with intensity. That was difficult. So the next day, it was hard for me not to think about my workout sucking the previous day. That stuff's really difficult to let go and then focus on what you're doing in the moment when it comes to your workout. So you got to do your best when it comes to just focusing on the present and start thinking about the future and what you can do to change the future by doing what you're doing right now. And that's being the best version of yourself, because when you're going through hard times like I am right now, getting in workouts and feeling good in your own skin is more crucial now than ever. A lot of people use hardship or hard times as a reason not to work out or as an excuse to just say, hey, I need a break right now. And in some cases, don't feel bad. Obviously, if you need to, do it. But I think for me personally, if you can do it, if you can get in the gym, it will help you. Your workout will act as therapy, essentially. So try your best to get in the gym. Like for me this week, again, it was really freaking difficult. And I will say this though, every single time that I got done working out, I literally felt even better than I would if I didn't struggle to get in the gym, because I had to fight to get in there. So when you finish a workout, when you're going through all that stuff, it makes you feel like you climbed a mountain and you got to the top and you're looking down saying, hey, I did it. That's the kind of crap that you got to think about when it comes to just even finishing your workout. It doesn't have to be crazy. Like I always say, consistency is key. You don't need to push and just give it an absolute crazy 5, because I rate myself every single day. I ask my team to rate themselves every single day with everything when it comes to food, water, intensity. Hey, did you take your supplements today? All that stuff is really important. And I think it's good to rate yourself every day. So when I say rate myself a 5, now you guys know what I'm talking about. And food, I killed it with food this week. I will say that. I gave myself 5s all week. Intensity, I would say I averaged about a 2 or a 3, honestly. But I will say this though, going back to what I was saying before, when it comes to tracking weights, it holds you accountable for weeks like this. Because if I didn't know what weights I do, I wouldn't even had as good a workouts as I did, because I would just be lifting what weights I feel like lifting. You can't lift what you feel like lifting. You need to lift what you know you should be lifting. Because if you only lift what you feel like lifting, then you're never gonna get results. So you gotta keep that in mind every single day that you show up in the gym. You gotta hold yourself accountable to the weights that you know you should be lifting and kick some freaking ass. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta do it. So this week, that's what I guess helped me lift heavy and get the results this week, because I feel amazing in just a week, even though I had all that stuff going on, because I know what weights I'm supposed to lift. So on days where I felt like lifting, say I'm doing a deadlift, I probably only felt like lifting a 45-pound plate on each side, but I know what I can lift. So I put on the weight that I know I should be lifting. And Was it difficult? Did I have to take some extra time, hit the pause button, and actually sit there and like really seriously try to reprogram my mind a little bit to attack the weight and actually do it? Because if you don't think about what you're about to do, that's also when injuries happen. You don't want to do that either. So it's really important to make sure that before going into a lift that you're like literally taking a step back, thinking about what you're doing, thinking about what weight you're lifting, and then go into it with the right mindset, with the right weights. All that stuff matters. And if you can do that continuously, consistently, you will absolutely still get results, even if your intensity isn't exactly where maybe it could be, and that's okay. But I think for me personally, I think every single workout, I look at it as, I don't want to take a step back. So not showing up is taking a step back. You're going to lose muscle. You lose muscle really fast. So me showing up, I can at least maintain where I got. If I kicked some ass the last 3 weeks and I got some really awesome gains, or maybe not gains so much because you can't really gain much in 3 weeks, but maybe my weights went up and in a lot of moves, I can at least maintain that if I at least show up and lift those weights that I did last week. And then I can go into the next week when I feel better. But if you don't hold yourself accountable to the weight that you lifted last week at least, then yeah, you're gonna start taking steps back. So just try to keep all this stuff in mind, guys. And this is all stuff, seriously, that goes through my mind every single day that I get in the gym. Seriously, it's really difficult. Like I said, this week I did have to pause the program quite a bit. And it did work out now that the car crap is dealt with. If you guys watched my last video, I talked about that a little bit, but it was complete hell dealing with that. So yeah, this week was a little bit better because I was able to take a little extra time down in the gym, because I did talk about how important it was to block off time, stick to your workout times. All that stuff is important. However, when you have times like this to where you're going through this stuff that we're going through, it is nice to be able to pause the program and take the time that you need to do the weights that you know you should be doing. You know what I mean? So that's what I did this week. I wouldn't say I gained any sort of momentum when it comes to going up in weights, but I'm thrilled and very excited that I at least maintained and did all the weights that I know I can do. And that's enough. If you can continuously do that when things get really hard, then you will absolutely continuously over time take steps in the right direction. And again, I just want to stress this. If I wouldn't have done that this week, if I just lifted what I felt like lifting and I didn't know what weights I typically lift, and I just picked up whatever weight I felt like lifting, I would have taken a step back this week. And that's not cool, man. Like, you want to at least stay where you're at during these hard weeks. So then next week you can move forward. That's the idea. So that's what held me accountable to getting in the gym. That's what held me accountable to actually getting a somewhat decent workout, because when you are in the right mindset, you know, when you have nothing going on like what we got going on, then in that case, yeah, I can lift a little bit more than I did last week, and I can really kick some ass and push my weights, fail every set, all that stuff. That, my friends, is when I can give myself a 5. That's how I ask my team to rate themselves. I actually go through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and actually explain what each of those tiers mean when it comes to intensity when they're rating themselves, because it is so important that when you're rating yourself, you actually understand what each of those ratings mean, because you can't just give yourself a 5. Like, most would probably mindlessly give themselves a 5 because I showed up, I lifted the weight I did last week, and that's enough. Yeah, sure, but I don't think it's 5 worthy. You do have to be a little bit hard on yourself, because if you want to move forward and get strength, like, you need to fail every set. You need to be a freak in the gym. You need to be dripping in sweat. You really need to earn that 5. So I'm really hard on myself, as I think anybody should be when it comes to rating themselves, because if you just give yourself 5s every day and your standards are down here, you know, you're never going to get results. Set the bar high. And for me personally, I think it's fun to shoot for. And when I do actually rate myself a 5, then I get pretty freaking excited about it. When I go in the group and I say, hey, I gave it a 5 today. And then people are going to see it, obviously, because I'm going to be drenched in sweat. They're going to tell. If you were to look at some of the accountability posts inside my team, like, it's crazy. Like, I compare like a 3 workout with my workout selfie or whatever to a 5 workout. you can literally tell the difference. Like I could tell, even if I was watching somebody work out, I can tell the difference between a 3 and a 5. When it comes to just all this stuff, guys, the big takeaway, I know I kind of ranted on that for a bit, but it's important stuff, man. Like you got to really think about all this stuff and how important it is to just get in the right mindset and just show up, man. That's all it takes is just consistency. And what I talked about in the beginning of this video, the muscle that I'm referring to is your brain, your mind. You know what I'm saying? So PD is so important. Even if you feel like on top of the world, even if you think you're getting amazing results, even if, yeah, everything's going great, I still think that you need to train your mind for what could happen and probably will happen because life happens. I don't know anybody that can go years and years without literally anything happening that affects their mind. Like, it's gonna happen. So I think that having a strong mind will help prepare you for stuff like that should something happen. Hopefully not, but at least you'll be prepared and hopefully you'll handle it better than I did because I went away from PD for a while and I think, like I said, that's probably why I lost my results a little bit. I shouldn't say a little bit, a lot. So moving forward, I'm making a commitment to myself to not skip out on any more PD. So when things do happen, I'm prepared mentally. So you got to remember that every single time you get through hardship, every single time you get in the gym and maybe it was a really bad day, like for me, for an example, the day following finding out that our transfer wasn't a success, the following day, was it really hard to get in the gym and just not dwell on it and whatever? Yeah, frickin' A it was. But because I've been doing PD the last couple of weeks, actually, I got in the gym the next day. Was it hard? Did I have to pause the program for a couple times? Yeah, but I did it and I got through it and I'm sore the next day, which is, that's perfect. I like to be sore the next day. It means I pushed it and yeah, so maybe the intensity, like I said, wasn't completely on point. So if I'm being honest, I'm surprised I was sore, but yeah, good stuff though, you guys. I think that the big takeaway from this video I want you to remember is that going into any goal, don't forget to train your mind. If you don't have a good mindset and something comes up, that's how people fail, falling off track and where they want to go. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that to be you. Stay strong when it comes to your mind too. Don't just every day come in the gym and just be like, oh, I'm going to get strong. Focus on all of it, like your mindset, like all of it. Don't just wake up in the morning and be like, I'm going to crush it tonight. You can, I would recommend it. I'm not saying don't do that, but also take a step back and maybe even write down some little affirmations for yourself or whatever you need to do. Or maybe there's like even a short 30-second clip, a video or some sort that you can listen to every single morning to remind yourself that, hey, today is gonna be a good day. I'm gonna stay strong today. I know that things will happen, but I'm gonna be ready for it. I will get through it and I will not skip my workout no matter what happens. That's pretty much what I tell myself every single morning, because I go into the day expecting something basically to happen. And if it does, bring it. That's my attitude. But that's because of PD. So in order to achieve that mindset, I think that it's important, obviously, to do PD. Because like I said, every single time that you get through a struggle and every workout that you get completed that you didn't feel like doing, it gets easier and easier over time because it's a muscle. Every time you get through one of those hurdles, the next time it's only gonna get easier and you're gonna get stronger, just like a muscle. So keep that all in mind. So use that as motivation. Next time, should something happen, say, hey, if I can just get through this one time, next time if something happens, it's gonna be easier than right now. So think about that next time something happens. Use that as motivation, whether it be picking a weight or getting in the gym or anything, really. Just remember that if you can just get through it, should something like this happen again, next time it will be easier because your mind is a muscle. Every rep counts, right? That's what they always say with the muscles. And that goes hand in hand, obviously, with mindset. It's absolutely key. If you do not have a strong mindset, you will just never probably get the results that you truly want. You might get results, but like I said, it's gonna be a roller coaster. What you need to get really awesome next level results like I want, I know I need to prepare myself a little better should something happens again, so I can stay with it and really kick some ass and not let it, or at least, I wouldn't say kick some ass, but at least get in the gym, eat on point, all the stuff that we all know we need to do. Are you gonna come in the gym some days and not quite kill it with your intensity? Yeah, just show up, just like I talked about at the beginning of this video. Just show up. But that's all I got for you guys. Again, it's unfortunate that we had an unsuccessful transfer. We're still up in the air of how we want to move forward. We do have 2 more embryos in the freezer, 1 boy, 1 girl. My wife desperately wants a girl. Obviously, so do I. I would be happy with either one working, obviously, but please pray for us. Keep us in your prayers. And yeah, we'll see how things go. I'll continue to keep you guys updated on all that. And I'm gonna continue to do my PD so I can get in here and kill it and get some awesome results. And I just wanna be transparent with you guys. Obviously, I'm not perfect. That's not what these videos are here to show you guys. I'm here showing you guys that I am flawed. I do have bad days, I do have bad weeks, but I'm working on getting better so I can literally get in the best shape of my life before I turn 40. So in order for that to happen, I know that I need to work on my mindset, because if something were to happen where these next 2 embryos don't work, I can't keep using that as a reason to keep taking steps back. There's probably gonna be some more stuff maybe that we have to deal with, because we're not at the end of the IVF journey yet, unfortunately. So things will come up probably, but that's why I'm doing the PD, is to prepare for those types of moments so I can stay in it, so I can get to my goal, so I can be in the best shape of my life before I hit 40. But that's what I'm gonna do though. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Stay you. Until the next time, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.